been thumped in the forehead by God before. I need you to listen. I'm like, okay, I'm making the video. Oh my God, my heart's beating so fast. It has taken me a while to get to the point. I'm like really nervous though. So I have some very life-changing news to share with y'all. As you can see, there are boxes behind me. That is because my lease is up in a few weeks and I am packing all of my things, putting them in storage to travel across the world. Oh my God. This has been something that I have been counting down toward for the past year, and I cannot believe it's about to be real. I'm probably gonna get emotional during this video, so just bear with me. For the past 3 years, have really been digging into who I am, what I want, how I want to live my life. And throughout this journey, I've often felt constricted. I think it's really easy to get caught up in your own programming, societal norms, and how other people think that you should live your life. And it's like, who made up the rules, okay? The rules are fake. So for me, this is a part of letting that go and surrendering my plan, but also following my heart. And as a single girly with no children, I'm not married, I'm not in a relationship. And so although I do want those things, I feel like this is a moment in my life that I will never get back. And it hasn't been put on my heart for no reason, because I have this like deep burning feeling that this is bigger than me. So honestly, sharing this, especially because I've been in my little cocoon, sharing this is an act of obedience for me. Like, I wish y'all knew how long it took me to actually get the guts to come make this video. Like, I have been so resistant to it, and I have gotten to a point where I now hear God so loudly and so clearly that I feel if I don't, the aftermath is not going to be desirable for me and my soul. Girl, you know, you've been thumped in the forehead by God before. I need you to listen. I'm like, okay, I'm making the video. So this is me making the video, sharing the journey with you all. But before I do that, I have to also share the journey to getting here. This is not comfortable for me to share this because I don't like people in my business, right? I can share stuff about fitness and nutrition. I can share all that stuff with y'all. You know, that's not really that deep. It's not that vulnerable or hard for me to share those things. But my personal life, my real, what's going on with me, I barely share that with my friends and people who know me, let alone the internet. So I have already asked for protection and peace and guidance with this. So here we go. I have really been working on letting go of a lot of things. This idea of how I'm supposed to show up in the world. The narrative that I've constantly told myself that if I don't work hard and grind and hustle, then I don't deserve great things. And that's not true. And I know that's not true. And so a big part of this journey is to fully grasp on to what life has to offer me and what I can also contribute to the world, and to fully, and when I say fully, I mean like let go, surrender to God's will for my life, listen and lean in, and allow that to be my stability and my safety net. Because ultimately, if I trust myself and I trust God, everything is going to work out exactly how it should. And so I want to bring you along the ride, so that maybe this journey can also inspire you along your own. But before I do, I want to share some backstory that I think is important to the launch or the kickoff of this liberation season, because it's important that you know what you see on social media and how people show up is not always what's going on in their real life. And for me, the past 3 years have been very difficult. There have been some beautiful moments within it, but it's been hard because of a lot of self-reflection and self-work and things that I've come to terms with along the way and people that I've encountered along the way. A few years ago, I was in a very public relationship. Like, I let y'all in on all my life. From morning to night, y'all knew my business, y'all knew my relationship, y'all knew my dog, okay? When that relationship didn't work out, it became very apparent to me how deeply I had connected with my audience online. Y'all have been like my real friends and family. And so I started getting questions like, I see that you're not wearing a ring. I see that your cabinets are different. Did you move? What's going on? And I completely went into a shell. Like, I don't want nobody to know what's going on with me. I don't want nobody to ask questions. I just want to be able to like transition through this situation without the external noise. And for a lot of reasons, it was important for me to do that, but also it's like tuning into your favorite series and then they just stop making episodes midway through the season. You're like, what happened? Like, you just left us hanging. What's going on? And so let's pick up where we left off. After my last relationship didn't work out, I moved into a new apartment and it was like a fresh start, right? I was really excited about the space that I was in. I love that I could have the time and space to myself to just regroup and process and understand, you know, everything that was going on in my life. And I was rebuilding, or honestly really creating a social life, and I really felt like I was getting into my rhythm. Everything felt pretty stable except for the relationship side of my life. Like, I was kind of like, oh, I'm good. I'm used to being by myself. I love being by myself. Like, things are great. But that big chunk of my stability was missing. I was so used to being in my relationship that being alone felt different this time. It felt uncomfortable. It felt unsafe. And it felt like I was free falling. And so I had to really sit with myself and understand how to create that safety and stability within. And I ain't gonna lie, during that process, there was a lot of anxiety. Like, I didn't feel comfortable or safe around other men, especially as it related to like dating. And I was like, ugh, like, I'm good on all that. So I just kept to myself. And so the first half of like me relearning myself outside of my relationship, like, that was exciting, but it also came with like a lot of reservation and a lot of guards. And I really had to get to the point where I was like, girl, like, open yourself up. Like, you don't know what's out there. Like, just take a leap, take a dive. And when I started leaping and diving into this dating world, ooh, let's just say it exposed a lot about things that hadn't come to the surface for me. And when I say the enemy knows you well, I had really started to get into the groove. I was flowing, I was growing, business was thriving. I started a Bible study, I was creating content, I was planning on creating faith-based content that really helped people get closer to God in a real way. And one of the things that I learned that the enemy knows about me is that while I have also found stability in financial security, that's why I'm always working, grinding, striving. What I didn't know is that I also found security in relationship and partnership. And so being in this space to myself to reflect on those things started to make me really tap into my childhood relationships with my parents, specifically my father, and how the search for comfort and stability in relationship has been a part of something that has kept me grounded. And so a lot of times I would say like, oh, I'm a relationship girly. Like, I love being in a relationship. And being in here by myself and really digging through what that meant had me asking a different question. Why do you like being in relationships? Why do you like being in committed relationships? And what does that look like? Why does it look that way? And a big part of that was because the men in my life from a child until now that I would look at or view as father figures were very flighty. And that's no shade to them. I think, you know, parents parent the way that they know how, and they're dealing with their own things. So there's a certain level of grace, but that also doesn't mean that that doesn't affect me and my views on men and stability and relationships. And so after doing lots of self-reflection and prayer and even therapy, like I came to a lot of conclusions that really helped me find that stability within and not look for it externally. Meanwhile, I have chosen some partners because of how unsafe they make me feel and my desire to make it feel safe, right? That chase to make it feel safe has often been to my detriment. The last situation that I was in was very unhealthy, and honestly, I allowed that situation to put me in a space where I felt like I was spiraling. And let me be very clear, the situation that I'm referring to is not my past partner. There's no shade to him whatsoever. He's a great human being. There's no shade to anyone during this video, but I'm sharing this because this is real and some things that I don't feel like people talk about often. So what I'm referring to happened in like my dating process. And if anyone is watching this and feels that I am talking about them or anything like that, that's not what this is. This is just a part of my journey that I feel might help other people who might have been in my same boat. Because ultimately, this is about me making decisions and why I've made those decisions and how I've learned from them. So now that we got that clear, it was probably the least safe situation that I could have been in, not physically, but emotionally, mentally. I was not in a good place while connecting with this person. And it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about not going against my own wants and needs, about not tolerating someone else's behavior or giving someone so much grace that it comes at the sacrifice of my own peace, healthiness, and well-being. And because no one knew really what was going on with me, everybody thought that I was okay. And I was the furthest from okay. But those who were closest to me, especially my mother, they knew. They're like, something's not right. Like, you're not yourself. What's going on? You know, to the point where my mama popped up on me. If y'all know Mama Cricket, y'all know she don't play, okay? She popped up on me one day in Atlanta and texted me like, I'm in Atlanta. I'm like, what? Excuse me? Why are you here? And she was like, I just need to see you breathing. I need to see your face. Where you at? Ma'am, not you pulled up. And I wasn't okay. I was not in a good, healthy mental space. I was not in a good, I just wasn't in a good place. And I just remember waking up every day, just going through the motions, just numb and not really feeling through life. I wasn't present. I wasn't here. I was just existing. And it felt like there was nothing I could do about it. I was just trapped in my own mind, just digging through my own stuff. And I begged God, please, please just like pull me out of any place or person or spirit or energy that I'm not supposed to be around, because clearly I can't do it myself. Like when I say begging God, like God, please, like I am not able or capable of pulling myself out of this space that I'm in. I start reading my Bible again. I started really tapping in with my prayers, like digging deep in my prayers. I started seeking support from like my friendships and being like, hey, listen, like I'm not in a good space. Like I just need you here. Like I need you, because I've been the friend that people think, oh, Chris got it together. Like she's good. She good. She's always been good. And I'm like, I'm not good, but I also haven't done a good job of telling people that, right? I don't let people in and tell people like, hey, I'm not okay. I might need your help with this. I might need your support with that. And that's because I'm just been so used to having myself. So when I finally got to a space where I realized my life can go one way or the other, and I knew that I didn't want it to be on the other side, on the side that I couldn't pull myself back from, that's when I started to really shift my energy. And I knew that God was my strength in that. And so I'm like, God, please, I promise it's yours. I'm surrendering to you. Like, I don't want it. This is not mine. Other people's energy and behaviors are not mine to fix. I need out. And when I say God works like that, when you surrender, honey, it was like the biggest light switch happened. And he removed me from that situation. And I was so grateful, because although it was painful and uncomfortable and made me feel like I had dropped something that I wanted to be attached to, but I also knew that it wasn't good for me. I felt such a mix of emotions: relief, hurt, anger, resentment. And for the longest, I had to let myself off the hook, because I kept saying to myself, like, how could you put yourself in a situation that would like pull you down? How could you allow someone to be in your life who doesn't recognize the value that you have, right? How can you put yourself in the position to be so distracted and emotionally exhausted that you would get here? How could you let yourself get here? And I had to shift that and really love on myself and give myself grace for being in a situation that I knew I had no business being in. And so once I got to that space, I was able to free my mind. And when I tell you, it has been nothing but God, like, whoo, baby. I started feeling like myself again. I felt like my personality was coming back. I felt like my friendships were flourishing. Opportunities started coming my way. It was almost as if God was waiting on me. I just knew I wasn't living a life that was aligned with my highest self. And God saved me. And I'm so thankful. It's almost as if God was like lovingly letting me know, don't you ever sacrifice what I put in you like that again. And I do not regret not one lesson that I've learned, because I feel like had I not learned some of the lessons I've learned since I've been in this space, I may jeopardize my bigger calling down the line. I'm like, God, I don't gotta hit my head on the concrete no more, okay? I don't gotta, I know now. And I promise I'll learn a lesson. You ain't gotta teach me but one time. But after like coming out of that situation, when I tell you, I feel so at peace and whole and happy, and just, I didn't think that I would get back to myself again. And I did, and I'm grateful. But I had to sit with myself for a little minute, because I didn't want to feel like I was running from anything, because things get uncomfortable. It's easy to just run away. But the reason why I knew that that was not the case is because it has been so hard for me to pack and leave this space. I'm looking around and I'm like, I've never lived anywhere where it's been hard for me to leave. Ever. I've always been like, get up and go, let's move, let's get it. And this has been hard. This has been so hard. Like, I'm not ready. And I am, but it has been difficult. And that has been my tell sign that, yeah, you're not running, girl. Because I feel like there's been circumstances where I have ran. And this is not me running. This is me truly, boldly stepping out on faith and allowing God to lead me. I'm so excited, and I don't know what is going to come of it, but I know in my soul that this is what I have to do. So I'm so excited. I thought I was gonna cry. I have so much love and support, and I am truly grateful for that. This space has been so good to me. It has held me when I've been in my lowest moments. It has picked me up when I felt like I was in a pit. I have spent so much time with God in here. Uh-oh. I thought I was gonna make it. Okay, I'm just so thankful and so happy and so at peace. And I'm just grateful to be able to share this journey with y'all. Shout out to my friends and family who I've talked to over and over and over again about this. I'm thankful for you just holding space for me and allowing me to vent and holding me accountable to certain things that I say. Never judging me, always loving on me. And checking on your strong friend. Shout out to all of the people I've met in the past few years, my clients. You have no idea how honored I am to be able to work with you and create content for you and do what I love. Who knows what this holds, but I have a good feeling that God is going to speak through this to you, and that is why I'm sharing it with you. So make sure you tap in, subscribe, like, comment, follow. We in this thing.